I'm going to go back now to my colleague, Heidi Giokos, still on the scene for us. And Heidi, earlier on, you were trying to establish with the police and law enforcement earlier on, if you could make your way as the media inside that road where we saw, some what we believe could be members of the media taking pictures. But where do you stand right now? Where are you? And what exactly are we looking at just in terms of the extent of the damage and any developments so far?
Yes, so we are on the corner of, I'm sure this is Loveday. I'm trying to figure out which street this is, and Lillian Ngoyi Street, Bree Street. So this is part of where the extensive damage has happened, Tumelo. Very busy road, very busy intersection. It's just rather unfortunate. I'm going to ask my colleague Tebogo maybe if he can try and zoom in as much as possible to actually just show you what is happening further down. So the damage is very extensive. It's probably for a couple of meters, if not possibly even a kilometer or so. But it seems as though there's some action further down, and unfortunately we can't move there. I've again begged and pleaded with the police to try and let us through, and they've said that we cannot go through. But there seems to be some development there. I'm not entirely sure if it's just officials trying to assess the damage. We did see some officials here where I am standing literally going inside. I'm going to call it at this point parts of the road being sunken in. I don't want to call it a sinkhole because it's not a sinkhole. The road has literally collapsed. And until we establish what could have caused this, it's very difficult to explain whether this was a gas explosion, a gas leak, whether it was triggered by illegal mining, because we still don't know at this point what could have caused this. But there seems to be further assessment further up there, and last night I counted about 11 to 12 taxis that were literally piled up and lined up because of the damage. It seems as though some of them have been removed, but some private vehicles, and I do see some taxis are still further up there that have not been removed. Again, Tumelo, I'm going to emphasize that I have never seen something like this before. The way the road has just completely cracked and caved in, the massive cracks also on the side of where the road has caved in is something out of a movie. I cannot even begin to imagine what those that were driving on this road were going through when that happened. I mean, eyewitnesses and bystanders told us that taxis were literally in the air. They were flung up in the air and then they were dropped to the ground when all of this happened. I must say that yesterday when we were here, the damage was not like this. It seems as though the road is further deteriorating. It's understandable why, because it's obviously caving in and going at this particular point. The road has been completely cleared. There can be no vehicle on this particular road. We have been asked to reroute and literally walk all the way around. So it becomes very difficult. But I think for he's obviously been given a provision to say he can walk this way, that live in these block of flats that have no other way but to use this road are obviously
All right, Heidi Giokos, we seem to have lost you there, colleague. We're going to move from you as you are on the ground seeing, of course, all those visuals from, you said, on Lillian Ngoyi Street, just, of course, formerly known as B Street, right close to Bree Taxi Rank. I'm going to head over now to Pule Letshwiti-Jones because he's got more of an airborne view, just a look at that collapse and the damage from above. Pule, let's try once again, colleague. Let's take us through, or rather take us through what you're looking at and why this picture is so important in understanding the effects, on the greater picture.
Well, very good morning, Tumelo. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but of course we're giving you an aerial of the extent of the damage on the street now known as Ngoyi as well. It looks quite clear from what we're seeing, unlike what we saw in the morning when there was a struggle between police trying to clear off citizens from the area that has been damaged right now. But from the extent that we're seeing, it looks like it's about to the streets.
Oh, unfortunately, we're not winning with you once again, Pule, and I know that you're working hard to ensure that we get these visuals from you, but also to ascertain what exactly we are looking at. We'll keep trying. We will not give up to give our viewers that picture. So important and quite significant, because oftentimes we spoke about the particular streets that have been cordoned off, that have been affected, and we also spoke about the businesses and what those ramifications look like in terms of lights, and you not receiving any electricity if you are in that area. And if you're making use of that road to your destination on a regular basis, you will be affected and traffic will be redirected to other roads, as we've seen those roads being cordoned off already. But you could see a lot of apartment buildings there as well from the visuals that Pule is giving us right now. This is where businesses are. This is where residents reside. At this stage, if you are in one of those buildings that have been affected by that road collapse, you would know that Gauteng Police Commissioner did say that you would be allowed to stay indoors, stay in your residences until they are certain that it's safe to come out, or at least to make use of that road, because at this stage right now there are fears of a possible secondary collapse. So it's important to, of course, heed that call, as all our authorities are trying to preserve life and make sure everybody is as safe as possible. They're also mentioning this because they do have the stats at their disposal right now. 1 fatality, 48 injuries, 12 right now still in hospital. And we've seen the visuals of some of the cars and taxis that had overturned and were affected, of course, by this road collapse. At this point, still not clear what the cause, the root cause is. But 1 o'clock, we're expecting, of course, all key role players to come back again for that briefing to update us on any developments in terms of any data gathering and research surrounding this very, very tragic incident that had occurred in the Johannesburg CBD. So we'll keep you updated right here on eNCA DSTV channel 403.